Welcome back to Spaceborn Bubba. Strap in as the Space Regulation Board grapples with issuing Bubba a certificate of space worthiness. 2 weeks later, Bubba strolls back into the Space Vehicle Commissioning Office, having fixed the discrepancies in his new, old, space cargo vehicle. Well, Bubba, I don't believe I am saying this, but here is your space worthiness certificate for your, vehicle, the inspector says in unbelief. Well, thank you, that means a ton. Timon is good as I have a client to take to Wolf Base Luna tomorrow and another few days after that, Bubba says happily. Well, good luck, I guess. The inspector stammers out in disbelief. You gave him a certificate? You actually gave him a certificate to fly that antique vehicle into space? They don't even allow them things on the roads anymore, says the exasperated supervisor. I had to, says the inspector. Had to? Unbelievable. What about the brakes? Quizzes the supervisor. A vessel skated in under the weight limit, says the inspector. By how much? Asks the supervisor. 2 ounces, says the inspector. 2 ounces? 2 measly little ounces? The supervisor says in a high-pitched voice. Yes. 2 measly little ounces, says the inspector. Unbelievable. He could fart 2 ounces into the upholstery, says the exasperated supervisor. Well, the law is the law, and I had to pass him. I sure hope the tractor beams work reliably, says the inspector. Me too, sir, me too, says the supervisor. The Wolf Base Luna Base Operations Commission is talking about taking the tractor beams offline because they are unreliable, says the inspector. Well, when that happens, he will have to install brakes or thrust reversers, says the supervisor. And I really don't see that happening, the inspector says. That guy is a piece of work, isn't he? The supervisor says in retrospect. You can say that again. I can honestly say that is the most derelict craft I ever had to commission, the inspector says with amusement in his voice. Well, I figure he won't last long in the business with that that fine vessel, says the supervisor with a smirk on his face. Did you see how he was managing thrust? Yes, with an old foot-operated accelerator pedal and the gear shifter, says the inspector. The gear shifter? What is he using a gear shifter for? Asks the supervisor. Yeah, he was using it to operate the staging valves on the thrusters and the pedal to regulate fuel flow. Actually, quite ingenious. Just please don't tell him that. I would hate to have copycats, says the inspector. The supervisor looks over to his coworker and says, well, how many 100-year-old Chevys can there be running about? My guess is that we just saw the last of them, the inspector says. Where on earth did he find it? Asks the supervisor. He showed me a picture of it before he converted it. He found it in a barn, the inspector says. Wow, says the supervisor. I know, a nearly 100-year-old barn find is going to be using the spaceways going to the moon and back, says the inspector with awe. Scary. Very scary, says the supervisor. Well, you did try to condemn it. Yeah, but the law is the law, says the inspector. I actually feel kinda sorry for his first fare, says the supervisor. Might be his last, quips the inspector. Come to think of it, I think I need to sell my house, says the supervisor. Why is that? Asks the inspector with a puzzled look on his face. I just remembered, it is in the spaceway right-of-way, says the supervisor. I would not want to be there when he starts business, my friend, says the inspector. This concludes Part 4 of Season 1, Episode 1. Stay tuned for the Part 5 conclusion. And remember, you can scratch your sarcasm itch on our sister channel, Sarcasitist.